Why do you want to know whether she's struggling without you? Sit with that, because your honest answer matters more than any sign I could give you, because there's a part of almost every man after a breakup that badly wants to believe she's hurting too, that she misses him, that she's struggling, that leaving cost her something. And I'm going to give you exactly what you came for. The real signs that an ex might be secretly struggling without you, the subtle tells that she hasn't moved on as cleanly as it might appear. But I'm also going to give you something far more valuable than the signs themselves, the Stoic truth about what these signs actually mean, why hoping she's struggling quietly keeps you chained to her, and what genuinely matters far more than whether she's okay or not. Because here's what I've learned. The man who most needs his ex to be struggling is usually the man who's still struggling himself. So we'll go through the signs honestly. But by the end, I want you to understand something that will serve you far better than any evidence of her pain. The difference between watching for her struggle and actually ending your own. But before we begin, if you've been searching for evidence that she's hurting too, do this one thing for yourself right now. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because that's how you become a Stoic soldier. A man who shows up for his own healing every single day and never misses the lesson when he needs it most. And down in the comments, type 4 words and mean them. I wish her well. Say it before you've even finished watching, because the words you claim today become the strength you stand on tomorrow. Now, let's begin. Number 1. She keeps tabs on you. The first sign that an ex might be secretly struggling is that she keeps tabs on you. She can't fully look away, monitoring your life from a distance, even though she's the one who's supposed to be moving on. This shows up in the small, telling ways. She watches your stories consistently, often being among the first to view them. She still follows you, still sees what you post, still keeps herself connected to your digital world. She seems to know things about your life that she'd only know if she'd been paying attention. She keeps herself tied into your mutual circle in ways that keep information about you flowing to her. She hasn't done the things people do when they've genuinely let go and want distance. In short, she's still watching, still tracking, still unable to fully disengage from your life. And that continued monitoring often suggests that some part of her is still emotionally caught up in you, still struggling to release the connection. But here's where I have to be honest with you, and I'll be honest after every one of these, because false hope is the last thing you need. Keeping tabs on you doesn't necessarily mean she's struggling or wants you back. It might mean she has genuine unresolved feelings. It might also mean simple curiosity, the ordinary human interest in someone who was once important, carrying no real weight. It might be idle habit. Watching a story takes half a second of mindless scrolling. It might mean she cares about you as a person without any romantic struggle at all. The Stoics valued seeing things clearly and refusing to flatter ourselves with the interpretations we want to be true. So take this sign for what it is, evidence that she hasn't fully disengaged, which suggests some lingering connection, but not proof that she's secretly falling apart, and definitely not something to build your hopes on. It's one ambiguous data point, and as you'll see, that's true of every sign on this list. Number 2. She reaches out for no real reason. The second sign is that she reaches out to you with no real reason. She makes contact that has no actual purpose except the contact itself. It's the "Hey, how have you been?" out of nowhere. The "This reminded me of you." The random question she could have answered herself. The meme with no context. The comment on your post. The message about something trivial that didn't need to be said. The details vary, but the pattern is unmistakable. She's initiating contact that serves no practical function, which often means the real point isn't the message at all. It's the connection. Because reaching out to an ex takes a little effort and a little vulnerability, and when someone keeps doing it for no real reason, it frequently suggests they're struggling with the distance, missing the connection, reaching for the familiar comfort of contact with you. But the honest caveat, because you need it more than you need the hope. Reaching out for no reason can mean she's struggling and misses you. It can also mean she's lonely in a general way and reaching for something familiar, which is about her loneliness, not about you specifically. It can mean she's bored. It can mean she wants the small reassurance of knowing you'd still respond, without any deeper struggle behind it. It can mean she's simply comfortable staying in casual contact, with no turmoil underneath at all. The Stoics understood that a single behavior can spring from many different motives, and that assuming we know someone's inner reasons is a kind of arrogance about knowledge we don't actually have. So take this sign for what it is, a suggestion that the connection still pulls at her, and nothing more definite than that. Because the moment you turn "she texted me a meme" into "she's secretly falling apart without me," you've stopped observing and started fantasizing. And that fantasy is exactly what keeps a man stuck for months. Number 3. She's overcompensating with "I'm fine." The third sign is subtler and more interesting. She's overcompensating, trying so hard to look happy and unbothered that it starts to suggest the opposite. This is the ex who suddenly floods her feed with pictures of how amazing her life is, who seems to be performing her happiness a little too loudly, who goes out of her way to make sure everyone sees how completely fine and thriving she is right after the breakup. And the psychology here is genuinely interesting, because a person who is authentically at peace usually doesn't need to broadcast it. Genuine contentment tends to be quiet. But a person who is struggling and doesn't want anyone to see it will sometimes overcompensate, performing an exaggerated happiness precisely to convince others, and maybe themselves, that they're fine. When the performance of being okay is too loud, too constant, too clearly aimed at an audience, it can reveal the struggle underneath the very display designed to hide it. But the honest caveat, and it's an important one, because this sign is especially easy to twist into whatever you want it to mean. Overcompensating with happiness can mean she's struggling underneath and performing to cover it. It can also mean she's genuinely happy and simply sharing her life the way she always did. It can mean she's found real relief and is authentically enjoying her freedom, with no hidden pain at all. And here's the trap you must avoid. This is the sign men most love to reach for, because it lets you interpret her happiness as secret misery, turning any evidence that she's doing well into proof that she's actually falling apart. That's not analysis. That's your hope rewriting reality to comfort you. The Stoics warned against precisely this, constructing the interpretations we want rather than seeing what's actually there. So take this sign with real caution. Sometimes loud happiness masks struggle, and sometimes happiness is just happiness. And a man determined to read her joy as secret pain is a man who isn't ready to accept that she might genuinely be okay, which is something you'll need to accept either way. Number 4. The hot and cold pattern. The fourth sign is the hot and cold pattern, emotional inconsistency in how she relates to you. She's warm and engaged one week, then distant and unreachable the next. She reaches out, pulls close, seems to be reconnecting, and then abruptly withdraws. She gives you attention that raises questions, then takes it away without explanation, then returns weeks later. And this push and pull, more than almost any other sign, often reflects genuine internal struggle. Because hot and cold behavior is what someone does when they're torn, when part of them is drawn back toward you and another part is trying to move on, when they haven't resolved what they actually feel. A person who has genuinely moved on tends to be consistent, stably distant or stably friendly. The instability of hot and cold usually mirrors an instability inside her, an unresolved conflict playing out in her behavior toward you. But here is the most important caveat on this entire list, and I want you to really hear it. Even if the hot and cold pattern genuinely reflects her struggling, it is not good news for you, and you should not welcome it. Being on the receiving end of push and pull is emotionally destabilizing. Every warm phase raises your hopes, and every cold phase crushes them, keeping you in a constant state of uncertainty that makes your own healing nearly impossible. So even if this sign means she's struggling, that struggle is spilling onto you in a way that damages your peace and keeps you stuck. A person who is torn, who reaches for you and then withdraws, isn't offering you anything stable. They're offering you a roller coaster, and riding it costs you your own stability. The Stoics understood that we should judge things by whether they're actually good for us, not merely by whether they seem to confirm what we hope. So take this sign seriously, but understand it correctly. She's struggling and inconsistent is as much a warning as it is a comfort. Sometimes the clearest sign of her internal struggle is precisely the sign that you need to protect yourself from being caught in it. Number 5. She keeps the past alive. The fifth sign is that she keeps the past alive. She can't seem to let the chapter close, repeatedly bringing up shared memories, referencing your history, keeping the story of the two of you present in her mind and in your interactions. She mentions the trip you took, the inside joke, the remember when. She reminisces about the good times. She brings up the relationship in conversation, sends you things that remind her of moments you shared, keeps returning to the history rather than leaving it behind. And this often suggests that the relationship still occupies significant emotional space for her, because a person who has genuinely closed the chapter tends to let the past recede, while a person who keeps reaching back for it is often still emotionally engaged with what you had, still carrying it, still unable to fully set it down. Keeping the past alive can be a sign that the loss is still a live struggle for her, not a settled matter. But the honest caveat, as always, keeping the past alive can mean she's struggling to move on. It can also mean simple nostalgia, a genuine fondness for the memories without any desire to reopen the relationship or any hidden pain. People can cherish a past chapter warmly while being completely at peace with it being over. It can mean she's processing her own grief in a healthy way, which is about her healing rather than her struggling. It can mean she's simply comfortable with the shared history as common ground. The Stoics understood that we constantly mistake our interpretations for facts, projecting the meanings we want onto ambiguous behavior. So take this sign for what it is, an indication that the relationship still holds emotional space for her, and nothing more certain than that. And notice, by now, the pattern forming across all of these signs. Each one is real, and each one is genuinely ambiguous, capable of meaning she's struggling or meaning something entirely ordinary. Hold on to that, because it's about to become the whole point. Number 6. Word gets back through others. The sixth sign comes not from her directly but through the people around you. Word gets back that she's not doing as well as she appears, or that she's been asking about you. Maybe a mutual friend mentions that she's been struggling, seems down, or hasn't really moved on. Maybe you hear that she's been asking about you, how you're doing, whether you're seeing anyone, what's going on in your life. Maybe someone tells you she reacted when she heard news about you, or that she brings you up, and these second-hand signals can be revealing because they show behavior she isn't performing directly for you. If she's asking mutual friends about you, or if others can see she's struggling, that's information leaking out around the edges of the image she's trying to maintain, which can suggest a genuine struggle underneath. But the honest caveat, and a warning attached to it. Word getting back can mean she's genuinely struggling and still invested. It can also mean second-hand information is unreliable. It passes through other people's interpretations, gets exaggerated, gets shaped by what the teller thinks you want to hear, and often distorts along the way. It can mean she asked about you once, casually, and it got inflated into she's still obsessed with you. And here's the warning. Relying on mutual friends for information about her keeps you entangled, turns your social circle into a surveillance network, and keeps you focused on her rather than on your own life. The Stoics understood that second-hand reports are among the least reliable forms of knowledge, and that seeking them often reflects our own inability to let go. So take this sign with real skepticism. It might reveal something genuine, but it's filtered, distorted, and often shaped by hope. And the very act of gathering it keeps you tied to her in a way that works against your own healing. Sometimes the pursuit of the information is more damaging than any information could be worth. Number 7. The honest truth about these signs. So there are the signs. And now I have to tell you the honest truth about all of them, because this is where it actually matters. Every single one of these signs is genuinely ambiguous. Each one could mean she's secretly struggling without you, or it could mean something entirely different. Loneliness, habit, nostalgia, boredom, ordinary curiosity, or nothing much at all. You cannot know for certain what any of them mean, because you don't have access to her inner world, and no external behavior gives you reliable proof of what someone is feeling inside. And here's the more important truth. Even if she is struggling, even if every sign is real and she genuinely misses you and hasn't moved on, that still doesn't give you what you actually want, because her struggling doesn't heal your pain, doesn't fix what went wrong, doesn't rebuild your life, and doesn't make you whole. Her struggle changes nothing about your situation. It's a fact about her, not a solution for you. And there's a deeper truth I owe you, one that cuts against the entire premise of searching for these signs. Even if she is struggling without you, that isn't actually a good thing, and it shouldn't be what you're hoping for. Think about it honestly. If you genuinely cared about this person, why would you want her to be suffering? And if you're hoping she's struggling purely so you can feel better, or feel vindicated, or feel like you mattered, then that hope is really about a wound in you, a need for reassurance that's keeping you tethered to her. The Stoics taught that we should wish others well, that taking satisfaction in another person's suffering diminishes us, and that our peace should never depend on anyone else's pain. So here's the honest truth about these signs. They're ambiguous. They don't reveal certainty. Her struggling wouldn't actually solve anything for you, and hoping for it isn't even good for you. Which raises a question worth sitting with. If evidence of her struggle wouldn't heal you and wouldn't be good to wish for anyway, then why are you searching for it at all? Number 8. Don't wish for her struggling. Let's sit with that question directly, because it leads to something important. You shouldn't actually be wishing for her to struggle, and I want to explain why, not as a moral lecture, but because it genuinely serves you. First, understand what wishing for her pain does to you. When you hope she's struggling, you keep yourself emotionally invested in her, tethered to her, still measuring your own okayness against her suffering. Your peace becomes dependent on her being in pain, which is a strange and fragile foundation, because now you need something outside your control, her continued struggle, in order to feel all right. That's not freedom. That's just a different kind of dependence. A man who needs his ex to be suffering in order to feel okay is still being controlled by her, still not free, still not healed. And second, there's a matter of who you want to be. Taking satisfaction in someone's suffering, even someone who hurt you, is beneath the dignity of a man who has genuinely risen above the situation. The Stoics were clear about this. Wishing harm on others, delighting in their pain, corrodes your own character and reveals that you haven't actually found peace, because a person at peace doesn't need anyone else to be in pieces. The truly grounded man doesn't need his ex to be struggling. He wishes her well, genuinely, not because he's a pushover, but because his own peace is so complete that it doesn't depend on her suffering at all. He can hope she's doing fine, even doing well, and remain completely unbothered, because his well-being was never tied to hers in the first place. That's the real sign of strength. Not needing her to be struggling, being genuinely okay whether she's thriving or hurting, and wishing her well from a place of complete self-sufficiency. So release the need for her to be in pain. It keeps you attached, it depends on something you can't control, and it's beneath the man you're becoming. Wish her well, and mean it, not for her sake, but because a man who can genuinely wish his ex well is a man who has truly set himself free. Number 9. Why this search keeps you struggling. Now let's get to the heart of it, the most important thing in this entire video. The search for signs that she's struggling is keeping you struggling. Think about what this search actually involves. It means monitoring her behavior, analyzing her messages, watching her social media, interpreting her every move, asking mutual friends about her, replaying interactions looking for evidence of her pain. It means keeping her at the absolute center of your mental life, hour after hour, day after day. And all of that keeps your attachment alive, keeps the wound open, keeps you emotionally entangled with the person you're supposedly trying to move past. The search for signs of her struggle is itself a sign of your own struggle, because a man who had genuinely healed and moved on wouldn't be scanning for evidence of his ex's pain. He'd be too absorbed in his own life to care. The very act of searching reveals that you haven't let go, and the searching keeps you from letting go. And here's the painful irony. While you're busy looking for signs that she's struggling without you, you're neglecting the only thing that would actually free you, your own healing and your own life. Every ounce of energy you pour into monitoring her is energy not spent on rebuilding yourself. Every hour spent analyzing her behavior is an hour not spent moving forward. The search for her struggle doesn't just fail to heal you. It actively prevents your healing by keeping your focus locked on her instead of on yourself. The Stoics understood that our peace comes from focusing on what we control, our own actions, our own growth, our own life, and that fixating on things outside our control, like whether someone else is suffering, guarantees our own continued suffering. So understand the real cost of this search. It keeps her at the center of your mind, keeps your attachment alive, keeps your wound open, and steals the energy you need for your own healing. The signs won't set you free, no matter what they reveal. But the search for them will absolutely keep you struggling, and the moment you stop searching is the moment you can finally start healing. Number 10. The final word. So let's bring it all the way home. You came here for signs your ex is secretly struggling without you, and I gave them to you honestly. She keeps tabs on you. She reaches out for no reason. She overcompensates with performed happiness. She runs hot and cold. She keeps the past alive, and word gets back through others. Those are real patterns. But then I told you the truth underneath them, that every sign is genuinely ambiguous, that you can't truly know, that even if she is struggling it wouldn't heal you or fix anything, and that hoping for her pain keeps you attached and is beneath the man you're becoming. And most importantly, that the search itself, the monitoring, the analyzing, the hunting for evidence of her struggle, is exactly what keeps you struggling. And here's the deepest truth to carry with you. Whether she's struggling was never the question that determines your life. The question that determines your life is whether you're healing and building something worth living, regardless of how she's doing. Because a man whose peace depends on his ex's pain will never be free, and a man who has genuinely healed doesn't need her to be struggling at all, because he stopped measuring his life against hers a long time ago. And if this video gave you even a fraction of the clarity or peace you came here looking for, then before you go, do these last few things for yourself. Like this video, so it can reach the next person searching for evidence of an ex's pain when what he really needs is to tend to his own healing. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you stand with us as a Stoic soldier, a man who shows up for his own peace every single day and never misses the lesson when he needs it most. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. So take these signs for what they're worth. Ambiguous, uncertain, and ultimately beside the point. Then stop searching for evidence of her struggle. Release the need for her to be in pain, and turn all that energy toward the only thing that was ever going to set you free, your own healing, your own growth, and your own life. Wish her well and mean it, because a man who can genuinely wish his ex well and then focus entirely on himself has already found the freedom that no sign of her struggling could ever have given him. Stay grounded, stay unshakable, and I'll see you in the next one.